Hello there, I am back with my week 2 update. We did have some technical difficulties this week, so I know this video is going to get out late and I am sorry, but I'm here, we're doing it, we got it. Anyway, if you want to find out how my second week doing intermittent fasting went, stay tuned. Okay, so let's start with the stats of the week. The big one, obviously, did I lose any weight? And the answer, once again, is yes. However, this week I only lost 0.9 pounds compared to last week, which I think was 1.1. So not that far off, but less than the first week. Really curious if that means anything, if that's a trend we're going to see. It's going to be interesting. As far as my fasting targets, my average fast for the week was 20 hours and 20 minutes. So very similar to last week, maybe a slight bit more. So I'm getting a little better at it. My longest fast in week 2 was 23 and a half hours, and my shortest fast was 18 hours. So I never went below the 18-hour threshold last week, which I thought was pretty good, and it actually wasn't that hard. So I will say it's getting easier. I definitely found it easier to fast in week 2. As you can see from the numbers, I didn't break my fast too early, with the shortest one being 18 hours. It's definitely getting easier. I'm not feeling as hungry. I usually get like tummy grumbles maybe once, but once, after 5 minutes, those go away and it's like smooth sailing. I also find, interestingly, that I have no trouble once I've closed my eating window fasting till bedtime, because I used to be like an evening snacker, especially after my son went to bed, and I don't even feel tempted once I've closed the window. So the temptation, or maybe it's more like the anticipation, is more in the morning leading up to when I'm gonna eat. I usually am honestly thinking about what I'm gonna eat. I am kind of watching the clock a little bit. It's not crazy, like, oh, I'm dying and when is it going to be time to eat? It's not like that, but I'm definitely aware. Yet when I close my window, I'm nice and full, I'm satisfied, and like food doesn't tempt me or cross my mind the rest of the day. So that's been nice. And speaking of how I'm eating, I'm finding my groove is 2 meals a day. And my 2 meals a day look 2 different ways. Some days it's truly 2 meals a day, generally lunch and dinner. A lot of days, especially during the week when I'm working, it's more like a late afternoon snack, pick up my son, come home, make dinner. So I'm still counting that as 2 meals, because that's when it kind of leaves the window at about a 2-hour, hour and a half, 2-hour window. So it's definitely not just like sit down, eat a meal, as a lot of OMAD people would do. And OMAD stands for 1 meal a day. So I don't think I can really classify this as 1 meal a day when I do that. So I do feel like 2 meals a day is comfortable, doable. I am seeing success. It's getting easier, losing weight slowly but surely. Still waiting to see those kind of other health effects. I've got a lot of body aches I'd love to see go away. I've got like a couple little skin things I would love to see resolved. So I know those are going to take more time. Those are the type of things I believe that are more autophagy driven, and we are not there yet. But excited for what's to come, still really motivated and amped about this journey. Even though I'm not really sure where week 3 is heading at this point, my plan is to give this 4 full weeks before I make any changes, make any tweaks, because I do have some bigger things or bigger tools in my back pocket that I am very interested in and want to do, but I don't just want to dive in. Like, if 2 meals a day and 18 to 22 hour fast is working for me, then if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But stay tuned, because I'm definitely interested in exploring 36-hour fasts on some sort of cadence, maybe 48-hour fasts. As I talked about that 500 calorie day, there are some people that do a modified alternate day fasting using that 500 calorie method, and then the following day is just a refeed day where you kind of eat more than you normally would. So you're not like pinging your metabolism or anything. You're just kind of throwing your body some curveballs, keeping it guessing. So these are all things like I am really interested in trying and seeing how they work, but I don't want to do any of that until I really get an idea of how what I'm doing right now is working. I hope that makes sense. One other thing I wanted to talk about today is how I got started on this whole fast. So over the next several videos, I'm definitely going to provide various resources that I have found very useful when looking into fasting and how I prepared myself to do fasting. But the one that started it all, and in a very non-fasting way, was the book, The Fast Diet by Dr. Michael Mosley. I checked this out from my library because I was notorious a couple years ago for checking out diet books and reading them and thinking which ones I could do. So I checked out The Fast Diet because, hey, fast and diet, that sounded like what I was after. However, I did not realize that fast didn't mean quick. Fast meant fasting, not eating. But I read Dr. Michael Mosley's method, which you may have heard it by the 5-2 diet. Essentially, 5 days a week, you just eat however you would eat. And the other 2 days out of the week, you restrict yourself to 500 calories a day. And just by doing that, you shed weight, you get the benefits of fasting, even though you're never not eating. And I actually did try this for a few months and I totally lost weight. But for some reason, when I did this, I struggled every day, or not every day. I struggled on those 500 calorie days. I don't know why, because I'm finding fasting pretty easy right now. So I'm not really sure why those 500 calorie days were so difficult for me a couple years ago. But I remember just starving up until the time I could eat and just not being able to focus at work because all I could think about was how hungry I was. But I did do it for, it was like almost 3 months. And I think I lost like 12 pounds, 15 pounds. It definitely worked. However, that isn't actually how I got into fasting. In his book, Dr. Michael Mosley talks about a documentary he did called Eat Fast, Live Longer. Pretty sure that's the name of it. And after reading about it in this book, I went and found the documentary and watched that. And that is way more about fasting. And it was so interesting to me. And that is really what sent me down the fasting rabbit hole, to watching other documentaries, YouTube videos. I've read, so many books cover to cover on fasting. It's kind of ridiculous. I when I get into something, I'm that personality. When I get into something, I dive right in. But I will put a link below to that documentary as well as to the book, just in case you guys want to check it out. But that is really how I got into this, and that is the one that started it all. I know a lot of people have found success on the fast diet or the 5-2 diet, so maybe that's a great entryway into fasting. I do think that could be a way to start if you're not feeling confident about your ability to really go every day. That could be a great way to start. So if you're interested, check out the book. Definitely check out the documentary. Incredibly interesting. And that's how I got started on all of this. Anyway, on to week 3, you guys. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please comment below if there's anything I missed, or if you have any questions, or if you just want to share how your journey is going. I would love to hear about it. And if this stuff interests you, please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much and have a wonderful week.